You've seen the ads. Be your own boss. Set your own hours. Earn a great income. Own your own, fill in the blank, franchise. Hi, my name's Roger Kugler. This is Working at Woodworking Podcast, where I am trying to help you get your own woodworking business up and off the ground, or to improve the success that you're enjoying right now. You probably have seen some of the ads for different franchise opportunities out there involving woodwork. Of course, there's Subway, McDonald's, Domino's Pizza, things like that you could get into, but we're kind of staying with woodworking here. So why would you consider a franchise? Well, for one, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Somebody has already done that for you. Maybe you want a turnkey operation where you can pay someone some money and boom, you have a business. Maybe you're looking for support and training. Actually have someone train you how to do a certain thing. Provide materials and probably a shoulder to cry on every now and then. Maybe you want something that you can quickly get up off the ground and running. Maybe marketing and advertising and lead generation is just not your thing. You want somebody to feed you and to do all that stuff. Well, a franchise might be just the thing that you're looking for. Now, as I did research on this subject, I found a lot of little nuggets of gold, some lessons learned that I think you could apply to your own business even if you have no desire whatsoever to enter into a franchise. So stay tuned. The franchise that really caught my eye was Enhance Wood Refinishing. I don't even remember exactly what I was searching for online when I came across this. I think I was doing some research on different finishes. And Enhance is very unique. Their website says Enhance is a wood refinishing franchise that uses proprietary refinishing process and product line that requires no sanding and uses an instant curing UV process for hardwood floors and kitchen cabinets. This sounds interesting. Instant curing UV process. I'm actually going to have another episode on UV cured finishes and adhesives, but that's what really struck me. And I did some more research into it. They have some very good videos on YouTube about this, and it literally is instant cure. They have a UV light generator that they run over the finish that they've just painted onto a kitchen cabinet, a clear finish, and it's dry. It's boom. It's done. I've heard about this technology before, but this is the first time I've really seen it kind of up close and personal. Something that I do occasionally in refinishing cabinets. This company was started several years ago by a company, HRI, which is the company behind ChemDry Carpet Cleaning. And this is all part of the Belfour franchise group. Franchises are really big business in the U.S. and probably other places. These things can be absolutely huge behemoths. One reason franchises are so big is they can be so incredibly profitable. So this business was started as a separate business to refinish hardwood floors and have grown to include refinishing cabinetry, furniture, and trim work, as the website says. It's the world's largest wood refinishing franchise. It offers their franchisees in-house financing to cover franchise fee, equipment, and inventory. Now, this is not something you're going to go into lightly. If you dig through their website where they show the requirements for franchisees, your initial investment is upwards to $179,000. Yes, that's right. I did a Google search on franchises that involve wood and found a couple websites. I've got links down in the show notes to everything that I found. And some of them are probably a little dated. This one is accurate. The liquid cash requirement to open a Enhance Wood Refinishing franchise is $50,000. The initial franchise fee is between $30,000 and $40,000 based on your population. The ongoing royalty fee is between roughly $400 to $800 a month, and there's a $200 a month ad royalty fee. Veterans receive a 10% off the initial down payment on the franchise fee. So we're talking big money here. It's not like everybody just has, $180,000 just kind of lying around here. Not to be dissuaded, about 80 to 90% of all franchisees get company financing. And company financing means that you're taking out a loan that you're paying interest on. And so you can kind of see how the franchisor is making money on this stuff. But there's huge advantages. Turnkey operation. Training is provided. Materials are provided. Marketing is all handled by somebody else. Now, I had the pleasure to talk to the Senior Vice President of Franchise Development for HRI, Dwayne Tanner, and we had a wonderful conversation. On his website, there is a page showing profitability of the average franchisee. There's a link in the show notes. And I questioned him about this because it has a big range, from, a few $100,000 up to well over $1 million. And he said that about 10% of their franchisees is what he calls artisan owners. These are people who are usually a one-person shop, a solopreneur, but they only make up about the lower 10% of their sales range. In the middle are people who are running 2, 3, 4 people in a crew, and that makes up the bulk of their sales range. And then the top 10%, they're running multiple crews. So these are, really big businesses. Now, one thing with the $180,000 initial investment, there's also a range involved there, and a lot of it just depends on how deep you want to get into it. You can purchase a vehicle from them that's all tricked out with the Enhance logos and graphics and all that stuff, or you can provide your own vehicle. So there is kind of a range here. He mentioned that during COVID, they lost a lot of the smaller operators, which kind of makes sense because, if nobody can do anything, that's going to take a lot of people out. But they are kind of slowly recovering from that. I asked him about who is the typical franchisee, and he's broke it down into about 1/3 of the new franchisees are hands-on people. They're tradesmen, they're craftsmen. They've maybe have been into the remodeling industry, and they come on board. This is a package deal. You pay your money, or in most cases, you put down your signature on a contract, and boom, you're in business. Then there's about 2/3 that treat this purely as a business endeavor. They don't really have any experience in the trades, but they want a business. And my guess is that these are the guys who are hiring people who do have that hands-on skill, that hands-on ability, and run them in either a single crew or multiple crews. He said the average territory is between about 250 and 350,000 population. So if you're in a big city, there could be several operators in that area. If you're out in the country someplace, you could have like half the state, depending on your population base. They don't want to put their franchisees in direct competition with each other. They want to kind of spread this out. And that's the entire basis of, the franchise model, is that you are kind of controlling the market so that you're giving the best opportunity for that franchisee to succeed. Because if they don't succeed, you're not going to be making those monthly royalties off of them. And that's really how you're making your money as a franchisor. Now, I couldn't help. I just had to ask about the finishes that they use. He said that they are a water-based polyurethane and proprietary, specially formulated to react to the UV light and dry instantly. I'll get into more of that on another episode. He says they do about 80% of their business is kitchen cabinet refinishing, about 10% is flooring, and about 10% made up between furniture and stair parts, which I could see going in and doing banisters, just knocking those things out one right after the other. When you go to their website, you'll notice that it is very franchise-oriented. It's not very consumer-oriented. In fact, you really have to kind of hunt for the drop-down button to actually buy their product. They very much control the presentation. So I entered my zip code, and it took me through, a couple twists and turns, and it got me to my local Enhance refinishing, specialist. So it's not something that you're going to put Joe's Cabinet Shop up on your website as a Enhance refinishing specialist. You work for them. You don't really work for yourself. It's very hard to talk to a human. I did get a receptionist, and she worked in a call center, and, name and number, and somebody will get back to you. And Dwayne did get back to me in a few hours, so that was very, very good. But you're just not going to call up and talk to somebody. And you're certainly not going to talk to your local person, because they get routed through the same call center. So if you're interested in this type of thing, check them out. They seem to be absolutely top-notch. Now, another franchise that I just wanted to kind of throw in here, I'm not going to talk very much about it, is Woodcraft. We've all been to a Woodcraft store. Yes, those are franchises. According to the website, I found there are 66 franchises in the U.S. Basically, any major city will probably have a Woodcraft. They started a franchise program in 1997. I was buying stuff from Woodcraft when they were back in Massachusetts, where they started up back in the 80s. I'm still using some of the tools that I bought from them. Initial franchise fee, $50,000. The estimated total initial investment, $500,000. You'll pay a 5% gross revenue royalty / service fee. The minimum required net worth should be about $750,000 for any, candidates to become a franchisee. Your minimum liquid assets are $200,000. They are looking for a population of around 350,000 people in a 20-mile radius of the store. So hence the large cities. I didn't call them. I didn't do any more research. It is involved with woodworking, but not really the hands-on stuff. But I thought I'd throw that out there. You just might be curious about it. Now, Furniture Medic was started by Joseph Lungsford in 1962 in response to his dissatisfaction with the long turnaround time that was common with most refinishing shops. In 1996, Furniture Medic was acquired by ServiceMaster, which is the owner of Amerispec, which is a home inspection service, 2 Men and a Truck, Mary Maids, ServiceMaster Clean, and ServiceMaster Restore. A lot of franchise opportunities there. It's the largest furniture and wood repair and restoration company in the world, performed on site. reducing cost and saving time for residential and commercial customers. Financing is offered for initial franchise fees, startup equipment, inventory, startup cost, and vehicles to qualified candidates through the Service Master Acceptance Company. Straight off the website. Initial investment is between $80,000 and $90,000. Net worth requirement, $100,000. Liquid cash requirement, $25,000. Initial franchise fee, around $33,000. Ongoing royalty fee, 7%. Ad royalty fee, 2%. So if you have the money just to kind of pony up and buy this franchise, that's one thing. But that net worth requirement of $100,000, I'm thinking this is what they're looking at to even consider giving you a loan to cover all of these goods and materials and franchise fees and things like that to get you started. The website is very nicely done. It's much more homey, more consumer oriented. It has actual information on it. It's a little dysfunctional as far as the phone numbers because it says to call this number if you're interested in the franchise, which takes you to a switchboard, which is for the consumer, so that they're not really sure what to do with that. You're going to have to probably do a little bit of legwork to get to the right person. It's all call-centered based. I don't know if anybody actually answers their phones anymore. But I think that they're a very recognized franchise. You can do this apparently anything from just becoming one of their dealers or franchise, running your own truck, kind of doing your own thing, all the way up to having the graphics on the truck and the vehicle and the little uniform and so on and so forth. I always thought it would be a really cool idea to specialize in grandfather clock restoration. I don't know, maybe calling your company Clockworks Orange, and then finding an old ambulance with the wheeled gurney so that whenever you show up someone's house, you're dressed in all white and you go in and you put the grandfather's clock on the gurney and you strap them in, maybe a blanket over, the lower half of them, and wheel them out and then wheel them into the ambulance. You could probably have yellow lights, flashing lights on the ambulance. That would be really cool. If anybody wants that idea, go for it. So definitely give Furniture Medic a look. Now the next one I'd like to talk to you about is Summit Wood Door Refinishing. Summit has been refinishing wood doors since 2003. According to the company website, it believes they have been refinishing wood doors exclusively longer than any company in the U.S. They are located in Boulder, Colorado. That's about 10,000 feet above sea level, where the UV rays and extreme temperature swings are really going to test wood door finishes. Financial requirements, about $25,000, the initial investment. Liquid cash requirement is between $30,000 and $40,000. Again, check these numbers yourself because they could be a little outdated. And there's a monthly franchise fee that is not terribly clear. It looks like it's ranging between $300 a month for web services and franchise fee. You're probably looking at a total of around $800 a month. The company is owned by Jeff Albright, who voicemail actually answered the phone whenever I called. His voicemail message did. It wasn't a call center. Hoping to talk to him in the near future. He has a wonderful website. Really, really well done. There's YouTube channels on there that he's explaining the entire process. It's like a 9-step process of what he's going to do when he shows up to refinish your door. He uses an oil finish as opposed to a varnish finish, which, yeah, you can start a fight in the wood refinishers bar pretty easy getting into that topic. But he says in one of his videos that instead of putting a clear varnish finish, an on finish, a surface finish that's going to last 2 or 3 years and then start to look like crap, then you have to sand everything down. He's advocating using an oil product that soaks into the wood and catalyzes, and every year you go out and wipe on another coat. The simple fact that you're paying some attention to your front door is a good thing, because most people, finish and forget. But that's not going to work, especially on doors facing south at high altitude in extreme temperature. So I think he's really onto something there. Give that a real hard look. Now, the one that I was most excited about is Eureka Woodwork Business Program. Are you looking for a low-cost, high-profit business you can run from your garage or a small shop? Want the flexibility of a full-time or part-time job? Pay no annual franchise fees or royalties? No quotas? No limits? If you answered yes to any of these questions, the Eureka Woodworks Business Program fits the bill to be your own boss with a turnkey business solution. Yeah, I may not have a future in radio advertising, but this is a very interesting company. They're based out of Texas. They offered several different programs. Basically, what you're doing is buying the tooling and materials from them to build Adirondack-style chairs or other types of furniture. And their starter package, which is about $4,000, you get 4 different jigs plus a template set and 380 linear feet of Western red lumber and all the hardware to build 5 chairs. Then you sell those chairs at a profit, subtract the price that you spent on the jigs and materials, and there's your profit. The website says you should be able to make at least $180 in profit, gross margin after materials, and take about 2 to 3 hours per chair. No franchise fees or royalties. There is a license fee, quote unquote, of $300 per year. There's a 2-day intensive training class in Dallas, Texas. They have a very good website with a lot of info. And they actually answered the phone. I almost fell over. I was prepared to give my spiel to, a call center, but very nice lady answered the phone. I told her what I was doing, and then I could tell from the tone of her voice that things are not all well. They are out of business. She said they're not actually out of business, but they have changed their business. They've gone to a more profitable line using laminates and some plastic wood materials for other projects. And so this actually isn't a franchise anymore. But before they take down a website, I would encourage you to go and look at it and study it and study exactly how they're doing things, because this isn't rocket science. Namely, what they were selling was a set of jigs and patterns to lay on the rough materials, trace that out, cut that out. They had another thing they called the factory track, which is basically a fixture that you would use on various machines to get the exact shape of the different parts that go into the chair. You can replicate this yourself. Go back and listen to episode number 21, Tools for Production Work. And we talk about how to replicate things exactly, one right after the other. And that's what they're doing with this program. So, real shame to hear that they've no longer in business. They have been a stalwart. I remember 20, 30 years ago seeing ads for Eureka wood products. So why would you not want to do a franchise? Well, the first one that pops up in my mind is money. I am not a fan of financing anything. Well, except maybe your home. But I'm not going to go on the hook for somebody for $150,000 to, in essence, well, kind of buy a job. Especially a job that you have to pay someone for the privilege of you working on a monthly basis. Yes, I know. They provide the training, they provide the materials, you're purchasing the materials, but a lot of times these are proprietary materials that you can only get from them, maybe. They're doing all the marketing, they're building the websites, it's a turnkey operation. Yeah, but I am just very, very debt adverse. I've been in debt in the past, do not want to do it in the future. Maybe you're just not that type of person. You're more of a bootstrap individual, someone who is going to do this on your own, not be obligated to anyone, not going in debt to anyone. You're the person who wants to build their own business. Is there anything that we have talked about today that you can't recreate yourself? No. The Furniture Medic website is full of really good customer information, consumer information. You should study that. See what they're doing. If you are not already familiar with Mohawk finishing products, you need to be. Link in the show notes. Mohawk is a company in North Carolina that literally kind of wrote the book here. They've been around for, well, I don't know, maybe centuries. They have a lot of product that you would be using if you were a Furniture Medic franchisee. You can do this yourself. You want to start a business making Adirondack-style chairs? You can do that. Yeah, the startup's going to be a little slower. The learning curve's going to be a little steeper. Personally, I think it's going to be a lot more rewarding because it's your business. You're going to be able to determine how you're going to run that and what you're going to do, and not be beholden to anyone. Unless you have the cash just kind of lying around that you can, drop $150,000 on something and be totally done with it. Irregardless, do your research in depth. Talk to other people who are actually franchise owners. They will give you the skinny. They'll give you the scoop. The good things and the bad things. Don't just go wide-eyed blindly into something that the only thing that you really need to do is to put your signature on a piece of paper. That can be very dangerous. So recommendations for the week. I have all the links to all the various websites that we've talked about today. Missed jobs. Refinishing some end tables, which I don't know. I might actually end up doing that. It should be a pretty quick job. They're interesting end tables. I'd actually like to take a closer look at them. Special thanks to listeners in Indianapolis, Indiana, and also in Tauranga, New Zealand. As always, I would love to hear from you, and if you feel like supporting the podcast, I'd greatly appreciate it. You can buy me a cup of coffee, link below, or make a donation directly. I may take this podcast bi-weekly, or to be more accurate, fortnightly. Break it out every 2 weeks. I'm honestly kind of running out of subjects, and I've got to get some work done. So if you have something, send me an email, give me a phone call, and if you have any coaching questions, I would love to help you out that way. So until next episode, happy woodworking.